Hi children, welcome to the E-class. Previous module, module 1, the lesson how, when and where, right? Module 1 we completed and today we are going to discuss about module 2. Okay, so module 1 what we discussed, how dates are important, right? So in that some slides also I showed you, okay, about Mughal Empire, from which period to which period they ruled and what they did in that duration, right? Means about their development programs, about their development schemes, about their administration policies, right? Ruling strategies. Okay, so that we discussed. Means what was the importance given to the dates in the history, right? So that we discussed in the previous module, that is module 1. Now today in this module 2 we are going to discuss about the which dates and next how do we periodize, two subtopics. Okay, so which dates means here how dates are important to which dates. Actually the importance given to the dates in the history, because whenever we are asking about the history we'll ask immediately when it was happened. Okay, right? So in the same way, in that dates, the time duration, which dates are important. Okay, I gave you some examples also. You are children, so in that way in your life your birthday is important. Okay, if you take an example of your parents, their marriage, their wedding anniversary, right, their birthdays, their job, when they got first job, right, their housewarming, okay, that dates will be important, right? So in the same way we coming to the administration of the country, right? So in that way which dates will be important, that now we are going to discuss. Okay, so in that here already I said Indian history is divided by the Indian historians into 3 categories. Those are ancient history, medieval history and modern history, and in that also now we are discussing about the modern history. But here one interesting thing is there, that is according to the Britishers entered after the Mughals, right? So from that time British historians divided Indian history into 3 periods. Okay, as per that we have Hindus, Muslims and Britishers, means Christians. Based on religion they divided our history into 3 categories, right? So as per that what are the important dates in our history? Okay, so in that actually Britishers period Governor Generals are appointed by the Britishers in India, East India Company. Okay, so they ruled our country. In that different Governor Generals came and they ruled, right? So many Governor Generals are there. Warren Hastings is the first Governor General of India by the Britishers, and in that period the last Governor General is Lord Mountbatten. Okay, these two are the first and last Governor Generals. Okay, so here in between also so many Governor Generals worked. So many Governor Generals worked as Viceroys of India. Okay, they also developed, they also different administration strategies introduced, right? They also did so many things for the people. In that Lord Wellesley, right, Dalhousie, Larin, right? So different people ruled. So here what we are discussing, which dates are important, which Governor General is the first Governor General, on which year to which year he ruled as a Viceroy to India, and who is the last Governor General, right? And from which duration, from which period to which period he ruled as a Viceroy, he worked as Viceroy under the Britishers, right? So these dates are important for administration, for our life. I said what dates are important. If you take an example of a common man, we take some examples, we take some incidents, what has happened in his life, about his birthday, about his marriage, about his job, about his education. right? So about his new company stats, right? So these many things we can tell as his important incidents in his life. Okay, but we came to the ruling, the administration of a state or a company, as a in country. Okay, for that we can say these are the things who worked as governor generals. Okay, after the medieval period, Britishers entered India and they ruled. The East India Company appointed different persons as viceroys to India to rule India, right? So in that different viceroys came and ruled India. Okay, so in that way here the some dates are important for the administration, for the ruling period. Okay, and from that topic to periodization. Here coming to periodization, what is periodization? Dividing. Okay, the Britishers' main concept is divide and rule. If we divide anything, we can rule properly. Okay, if for example I will tell you, if you want to read a lesson for the exam, for slip test or a class test, right? So how can you divide? First short answers and next long answers, right? And next reasons, right? So like that you will divide the parts and you will read that lesson. Okay, so in the same way here also Britishers divided. Okay, so as per that periodization, and even here I will give you one more example, the life cycle of a man, common man. If you take an example of a common man, we will divide the life: childhood, teenage, adult, old age, right? Childhood up to 12 years below, means up to you, right? So that is one stage. And next after the teenage, 13 to 19 years, your schooling will complete and you will enter into the college, right? And next adult age, your education will complete and you will join in a job and you will start your new life, right? You will get married, you will get children, you will get new house, right? You will plan a new company, right? So many, anything will happen. Okay, so after that old age, after completion of the adult stage, you will reach to the old age, right? So these are the stages in the life cycle of a common man. Okay, so children, same way here we are taking the example of the country. The country, they periodized, Britishers periodized as per their periodization. Before I said they divided our history into three categories: Hindus, Muslims, and the third one is Christians, that is Britishers. Okay, so that three periods. Okay, in that three periods means here the concept is, if we will divide into parts, we can do our work perfectly. Okay, not only that, anything. The entire country is organizing and ruling, the day-to-day functioning is possible to one person? No, it's not. So in the same way what we are doing, the country we are dividing into states, and again the states we are dividing into districts, and again the districts are dividing into mandals, and in mandals also we have different small villages, right? So that we are dividing and organizing each and everything, and we are appointing different positions to that different level, right? So in the same way here the Britishers also periodized our Indian history and periodized our India, right? They ruled, they established their power entire India, right? So children, now just let me show you some slides. Okay, here discussing about the important dates, in our textbook they have given some creative ads about a small topic about the creative ads. Okay, in our textbook actually they have given about the advertisement in the year of 1922. That advertisement is about the Lipton tea. Okay, so in that advertisement actually that is belongs to the year of 1922. In that advertisement one person have sat on the horse, and he is the third son of the Queen Victoria of Britain, Prince Arthur, who was given the title Duke of Connaught. Okay, so just like that I have given some examples here, and let me show that. The first one is Coca-Cola, and this ad also, advertisement also belongs to the year of 1920s. Here in this ad, one person is drinking Coca-Cola and he is wearing a suit, and he was wearing a hat also on his head, and he is drinking Coca-Cola, catching a bottle in his hand, and means what they are trying to tell you is until the last drop they are feeling the drink is very tasty, good and quality. Okay, so like that creatively they created one advertisement. And next one more advertisement, let me show you, that is one soap ad actually, and in that the famous actress Madhubala acted in that ad. In that they are showing about the soap, and that is, so the soap is the secret of her beautiness, and she is very famous cine actor in the 1920s. So we can see, while seeing that ad only we can identify the information what they are giving about that product. Okay, so the product is soap here, bath soap, and by using that soap only she is looking that much beautiful, means that information they are trying to give you. Okay, this is about the advertisements. The next topic is how do we periodize. In 1817, James Mill, a Scottish economist and political philosopher, published a massive 3-volume work, A History of British India. That is, and in this he divided Indian history into 3 periods: Hindu, Muslim and British. This periodization came to be widely accepted. Can you think of any problem with this way of looking at Indian history? Why do we try and divide history into different periods? We do so in an attempt to capture the characteristics of a time, its central features as they appear to us. So the terms through which we periodize, that is, demarcate the difference between periods, become important. They reflect our ideas about the past. They show how we see the significance of the change from one period to the next. Okay children, I hope you understand the topic, right? Once again I will revise which dates are important and how do we periodize, right? Which dates means any important, any significance reason is there, that dates are important. And as I said, Governor Generals. First Governor General is Warren Hastings. He worked as a Governor General of India from East India Company. And next, the last Governor General is Lord Mountbatten. He is the last Viceroy of India. Okay. So in that way, what they did in the duration, what the development programs they did, what their ruling did, any different ruling strategies they implemented in the duration, those are called as important dates. Okay. So coming to the periodization, how do we periodize, right? As per British historians, Indian history is divided into 3 categories. Okay, James Mill, Scottish philosopher, political economist, and he divided the history into 3 categories: Hindus, Muslims and Christians, that is Britishers. Okay, so in that way here periodization causes administration easy. Okay, means here ruling and administration or day-to-day functioning of the country, day-to-day functioning of the each and every activity, right, will become easy through this periodization. Okay, for that we are categorizing. Even for example, I said so many examples, and one more example I will tell you. In our Indian history also, we divided into different periods: ancient period, medieval period, modern period, so that we can identify in which period who ruled India, in which period India was developed, in which period in India so many projects was conducted, and in which period which king was introduced gold coins or silver coins, right? And in which period they gave importance to the architecture, right? So like that we can identify periodization. Okay, so here also the same way Britishers also periodized our Indian history, Hindu, Muslim and Christians. Okay, so that is the concept. I hope you understand. And now the task is collect the information about Lord Dalhousie. Okay.